Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is December 20th, and this is the December 2025 update here on my channel as to what's going on with everything. Not a whole lot's changed since last update. I just want to basically do a quick recap of what's coming up. 'Cause work is about to start happening down in the basement, and there's been some other updates too with what's been going on, which we'll touch on here in a sec. Anyways, obviously been busy getting decorating done and everything here in the house, and got lights up in the windows up on the front of the house, candy canes along the front of the house, and red and green lights or bulbs in the porch lights, that kind of thing, garage lights, and trees up here in the office, since work in the doors in the living room haven't been done yet, which we'll get to here in a second. But at least I do have a tree up this year, and got tons of ornaments this year. When my brother and I were going through everything of mom and dad's for what we were keeping, what we were selling, what we were donating, that kind of thing, we found a bunch of mom's Christmas decorations, so obviously kept all those, and I went through those and picked out the ones I wanted to use on my tree and everything. But there's a lot of stuff that, going back over the years, that, even though I'm not using them, I'm keeping them safe in storage. But the tree this year really turned out beautiful, with all the ornaments from many years, going back from even before my first Christmas. So, and then there's some bulbs or some ornaments on there that are brand new this year that I just got back in January. So, yeah, it's pretty neat. Looking over the tree and everything, and reminiscing about all the Christmases past and everything. So, my last video that I did was about the issue with the furnace, the big scare I had with the furnace. The furnace has been repaired. Everything but the burners was under warranty. So I only had to pay for the burners and the labor, which is a good thing. So the furnace is basically like new. Well, can't really say like new because it's an older furnace, but it's been refurbished really good, and it should last me a while longer, so I can start budgeting for new furnace down the road and everything. Obviously gonna have that inspected next fall before I fire it up again. But I also do have new carbon monoxide detectors, both in the kitchen and in here in this end of the house. Also, while I was at it, I replaced the smoke detectors. The one up here was working, but it's one of those units where you can't change the battery. You have to replace the whole unit, which I didn't like that, so I got a new one, or actually it's a pair of new ones where you can actually take out the 9-volt battery and change it, so that you always have a fresh battery in there. And because I don't know how old that one that was in the hallway was, even though it was working when I tested it, but obviously you don't know how old it is and how old the batteries is. I'd rather be safe and sorry and have a new battery, or a new new detectors are guaranteed to be working. Also replaced the one that was down the basement by the furnace, which it made noise, but you had to have no other sound going on around you to be able to hear it. So obviously those two were worn, because there was actually a second one down there too that I found and tested, and they were both shot. So, but furnace is working again, which I'm thankful for, not only because I now have nice even heat throughout the house. The baseboard heaters and space heaters they were working, but the thing is uneven heat throughout the house. I'd be warm in the TV room, go in the kitchen, and the kitchen would be freezing, unless I was using the oven or something. Same way with like the bathroom. So, plus, I found out it actually costs a lot more to run electric than the propane for the furnace. The month of October, when I was running the furnace, when all the issues were going on with the carbon monoxide leak, it only used up about $50 worth of propane from the tank out back. Whereas running the baseboard heaters and space heaters and everything for the month of November, that caused about a $200 jump in my electric bill. So $200 for electric versus about $50 for the propane furnace. Yeah, furnace is obviously better, and it's more efficient too because it's got nice even heating throughout the house and everything. So, but yeah, it still speaks to me that I was affected by the carbon monoxide so bad and didn't even realize it. Because there would be times I'd be sitting here, like I said, and I'd be on the phone for work and stuff and literally be fighting to stay awake. I was really achy, especially in my back and shoulders. One thing I forgot to mention too that I noticed, since the bedroom, well actually all three of these bedrooms are still work in progress. I've been sleeping out on the couch. It's one of those reclining couches with where the two ends recline. So I've been sleeping out there, and when the furnace was running, when the problems were happening, it was literally, I was literally waking up every morning with a pounding headache. And I thought it was just the way I was sleeping on my back or something, but about 3 feet away from the end of the couch where I was sleeping was one of the furnace vents. So, and it's like, and plus it's like there were some mornings when my phone, the alarm on my phone would be going off, and I would be just laying there wondering why my phone's going off, not in total kind of confusion. Granted, probably, yeah, it's kind of waking up in the morning, but still, that's another one of the signs, I guess, I've read about where for signs of carbon monoxide poisoning. Yeah, like some friends of mine and my nephew even, who's a firefighter, told me, I was very lucky that I was even waking up, as bad as high as the levels were and as bad as it was affecting me. So, yeah, it's definitely something to get checked out, before firing it up next fall. And, a lot of folks are like, well, you don't have to do it every year, and it's like, well, I didn't really know it was happening, and it was happening this year, so, I'd rather be safe than sorry, But anyways, let's go ahead and we'll do a quick look at the living room, and I'll fill you in on what's going to be happening with the Lionel in the living room, and then we'll head down the basement and hit on the work that's going to start in down there here shortly. So here in the living room, we still have the open doorway, which is why the tree is in the home office. And we also have, also why the Lionel isn't set up in here too. So over here, between the two recliners, where these two kitchen chairs are, kitchen chairs, once the tree comes down, are going to be going into the bed, my home office in there, so I have, can have a couple extra seats in there, as well as, a spot for Smokey to curl up on, when I let him into the office with me. But anyways, right here on the floor is where I was going to do just an oval for the Lionel with the Christmas tree. But I got to thinking it's actually smaller between the space between the two recliners than what I was having or I've had for the loop of track that I had up in my home office, both down in Hilliard as well as my house in town here in Bucyrus. So what I'm thinking of doing is putting a loop of track in. Here's a picture or a screenshot I took of using some track playing software. This is the way I'm designing the loop to be in the living room here. And here are the couple of photos of the where I put some test track down to kind of test the size of the loop for where I'm going to be putting it. So basically what's going to happen is, rather than having a tight oval around the tree where the trains are going to be basically chasing their own caboose around the tree, I'm going to have basically like what I originally had down in Hilliard, as well as the last two places I lived at before Hilliard, where I have the Lionel going around the living room. Basically I'll be going around behind the recliners. I'll get to the corner, come across in front of the bookcases, go around the corner, go behind the couch, here's Smokey, and then come out from behind the couch and go under the end table to turn, come across. The chairs will be here, but I can always move the track if I need to. Plus, since I usually am here by myself and Smokey, I can run the track under here and leave the chairs in place and then just move the track if I have a bunch of people over or something. And then it'll go over here and curve back behind the recliner and back over here in front of the main window of the living room. So that's going to be the main loop of the Lionel. So I'll be going around the living room. And then, for when the tree's up, or if I just want to have it run around the loop, that's where I'm going to have the loop branch off, and then it comes around where the tree's going to be, and then go back to the main loop. So that way, I'm granted that's going to be a shorter train than the full-length train or anything like that, but I don't have to worry about putting it on one loop or the other. It'll just go around the tree, get on the main loop, go around the living room, come back around, go around the tree, get back on the main loop, go around the living room, rather than chase its own tail around the tree all the time. So in that way I don't have to adjust the track and just come to November and December when the tree's up. I'll just have that loop there all the time. Of course, once I take the tree down, I'm going to bring the tree stand in here and put the test track down again to test and see if I have to move the front of the track out at all or anything. But it's going to be a nice little spot for putting the tree up here in front of the main window, and have the train up year round and going around the tree then. So then I'll have spaces for the fake presents on either side, as well as next to the tracks and stuff in front and everything. So you should have plenty of room then for both of the recliners on both sides then, and I think it's going to turn out nice. So here we are in what used to be the fruit cellar of the basement. As you can see, all the Christmas stuff is out of here right now because I've got everything upstairs. So while I've got all that moved out and I've got this extra space to move things around, I'm going to go ahead and get started while I'm off work between Christmas and New Year's, and try to get the rest of the storage space in here figured out. Basically, stuff on those shelves over on that part of the basement, those are stuff that I don't need access to or anything, except in like an extreme situation or something like that. But basically, then in front of it, there's going to be room to put my Christmas stuff stored up. Basically, line the tubs up along in front of the shelves, and then put the Christmas stuff that's in boxes and everything else on top. So that way it's out of the way, but I can still move stuff out from behind the staging yard. And then clear out these shelves here. There's some other stuff that's going to be getting moved in here too on these shelves. And then, like I've said before, these bottom 3 shelves, I'm going to take those out. I'm going to leave the boards off to the side so that way they're still down here for if anyone wants to put shelves back in there and take the layout out. But then this top shelf, then I'm moving that up to give myself some to the next level, to give myself some headroom underneath for when this section of the layout is actually, I'm going to take this shelf off the front, move this to the new section that's going to go in here between the 2 existing sections. Same thing with this throttle holder, that's going to get moved over to the next layout section as well. Anyways, then this is going to be going through the wall then a few inches, probably till about here or so. And then I'm going to then get started too on the other side, which I'll show here in a moment, for getting those sections fixed up and back together. But this is going to be off to the side, basically, according to my calculations. I'm going to come in right about in here, about in the middle of the shelf, and over. It's only about 18 inches. But a lot of the stuff, like these 2 folding chairs, those are going to go in my dispatcher's desk and workbench. So that way I can have extra seats there for guests and everything. That stool, little step stool, that's going to be used around the layout to, so I don't have to use my big 2-step ladder to get up on top of everything. So, of course, the dog kennel, which was used for when I brought the cats home, which they stayed in for a brief while until they got acclimated to their new homes. That's going to go into storage over on the other side too. Those shelves are going to stay. Those are going to be basically for stuff that, even though it's in storage, it's stuff that I might want to get to rather easily. And then, of course, this side is on these shelves here on this side of the shelving. Those are going to stay there too, and those are used for kind of a pantry. Mason jars, those are going to be used for when I do my feeders for my beehives out back. And then these shelves, once I get things going with the layout, these shelves are going to be cleared out because these are the speakers for the sound system they use on the layout, which it's not really much of a sound system, but just something that it's kind of fun to have. More stuff, tools and stuff for the that's going to get stored under the layout, and then prop phone for my dispatcher's desk. This stuff's going to be going on the workbench. This stuff is just various junk and tools and stuff. test track that's going to be going on the workbench. These foam pool noodles. These, I'm going to be using these for where I put a duck under to go under the layout. I'm going to slip them down to one side, and then I can put them around the edges of the benchwork, so that way I can add a little bit of cushioning for if I hit my back or anything on the edge of the layout going under it. So anyways, that's what's going on in here. Hopefully have that the shelves done by during the time I'm off. And then the art studio is pretty much still in place. Need to do a bit of cleanup over in this area, as well as I think my brother was going to take these rolls of insulation up to his house, and he's got some other stuff here too I think he was going to take on the table, but that table's staying. I'm going to keep that for my work area for when I'm doing oil paintings and stuff. And then over here, where my workbench and dispatcher's desk are going to be, I took the old rug that I had up in my last house in the home office. Is a bare hardwood floor in the home office there, and I had this rug down up there. So I really like the rug, so I wanted to keep that when I moved, and brought it down here, and I'm going to just keep it here where the dispatcher's desk is going to be. Basically the long table here, that is going to be the dispatcher's desk, and then the smaller table over here on the side, that's going to be my workbench, where I do my kits and maintain the cars or rolling stock and locomotives and all that. There you can actually see my dispatcher's panel. No markers are in it for the trains or anything right now, but have that for on my dispatcher's desk, and there's going to be room then for my laptop. I'm thinking about kind of doing is bring my old Windows 10 PC down and get a cheap display for that, and have that down here for use as a computer down here for my dispatcher's desk. Either that, or I can bring one of my laptops down and use it down here too. Either one of those will be fun to have, and then plenty of workspace to have for sorting the trains out and everything, and dispatching them. So then over here on the other side of the furnace here, basically what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to actually be starting down at the other end and start moving the layout sections against that wall, and cleaning the floor as I go too, because this floor needs cleaned too. But basically get the layout shifted down that way, and then before I move these end sections, make sure these are going to be where I'm going to be situating the layout at. And I'm going to use painter's tape to mark the walls, so I can mark the walls for where I want the opening. Because basically I'm going to add about another inch and a half on either side here, as well as underneath. And then up on top, have a few inches on top to clear the largest rolling stock and any trees I have on that section that's going to come through here. That one staging yard section for the entrance to the staging yard, that's going to come out here, meet up with this section, and that's going to allow me to add a 5-foot section in the staging yard area, I believe, because right now that wall's inside the walls on the fruit cellar, they're like 14.5 feet, Those are two 5-foot sections. So I figure if I bring the others, the entrance section out here a little ways, that's going to give another 6 inches or so, and I can easily add another 5-foot section in there. And then, let's see here. See if I can get underneath the layout here to get, well, I'll just go around. So anyways, once I have the layout out here, like between these two sections here and then the middle of the two sections over on the other side, those are where the two 5-foot sections are going to be out here on this section of the layout. And then between the two staging yard sections there, there's going to be another 5-foot section there added in too. But from what I measured here, this is from this the outside of this edge here to this wall is 74 inches. So I've got plenty of room to bring the Cleveland staging yard through the wall and put in, or add the 5-foot section in there, which I only need a few more inches for that. Now I have room for the other 5-foot sections out here. So the layout's actually going to come out here, give a few inches here, and then the corner's going the layout's actually going to be here. So these tubs are going to be moved then. They're only here temporarily to until I get those put underneath the layout for when I get the layout put together. And then the corner section, if I need to, like if I need to replace a freezer, washer, dryer, or something like that, I can always take this corner section off, move that off to the side then, and it'll be out of the way for that if I ever have like an emergency or something like that. So so basically what's going to be happening out here while I'm planning to do, in addition to moving the layout sections out here and marking the walls, I'm going to take a drill basically to each corner where I'm going to be cutting the wall through, and then use a jigsaw to do the sides and the top and bottom to open that up. And like I said, that should come out where those shelves are going to be that I'm taking out with all my calculations I've done. So anyways, basically as I go then, I'm going to be re-gluing the scenery bases, or these foam board bases, onto the benchwork. As you can see, this one here is kind of loose on this edge here. Basically take a putty knife, try to get some of this excess old glue out for the liquid nails, put new in. Not only am I going to be clamping it down, but the white tub with the green lid, that is a tub of about 500 4.5-inch nails. So those are going to be going at different key spots around the layout, or each section, to basically add a little bit more stability in addition to the liquid nails to help kind of hold everything together to get moved around. Plus, when I go to move them too, I need it to, on each of the feet on the bottom of the legs, I'm going to screw those all the way in to the legs, because those are kind of uneven right now from all the moving around and everything, and that'll help me get the layout nice and level as I put it back together. So basically, hopefully in the next week or so, I'm going to be getting the shelves in the freezer cellar taken care of, and then getting the layout moved over to work over and start work on this side, and then get the hole cut through the wall to figure out getting the staging yard through. But once I get the hole cut, basically I'm going to start with this area of the layout, getting everything put back together, getting the bases, or foam base, glued back on where it needs to be glued back on, and then you do the reinforcing screws and get the layout put back together, and basically just work to that side of the layout as well as the Cleveland staging yard. When I get to where the new benchwork is going to be going in, I'm going to get the benchwork ordered, get that put together, and get those sections put in, as well as run down to probably Lowe's. Lowe's is where I've got this blue foam board, although I don't think they have blue foam board anymore. Last time I was down there I only saw white and green. So I'm going to have to measure this to make sure I get the right thickness for what they have to match what I've got here. And then I can do the benchwork and foam board for the new sections, finish the sections then past the foam, the 4 sections that are going to go basically down that end, as well as the end sections of the staging yard. And then what I have planned is the track and road bed and the hookup wires that I got for the feeders for the tracks. I've got enough to do both main line on the main oval, the yard lead down there where that section is going to be going in, as well as the first track of each of the 4 yards, both one in each of the staging yards, as well as one in the on each of the yards there on the other side of the layout along the wall. So what that'll do then is that'll at least let me get train started, and then what I'm going to do then is I can do the wiring. I've already got bookmarked where online I'm going to get all the extra components and everything I need to get for the connectors for the end of the layouts and the power cables and everything I'm putting in to make the electrical connections and all that. So it's starting to come together, and then basically one reason I want to do the foam board right after I put the benchwork in too is once that's in, I want to start the layout sections that I have together over here on this end. I want to start testing those, and with the foam board in place, track might not be there, but at least I don't have to worry about the trains running off the end of the layout and hitting the floor, which would be a disaster. But I'll be able to do testing on the track and stuff that as things go back together. And anyways, then once I get that done, I'll have everything wired up underneath too for doing any other, or for the other wiring and everything. And then I'll be able to make plans for going down to Columbus to the hobby store, to the train station, to get the rest of the track and road bed I need to finish the yard tracks and get those up and running. And after that, I should be back up in operation. Hopefully by next summer. I'm hoping to have trains running at the latest on all the tracks. Hopefully by this spring I'll have at least the main line and then the first yard track of each yard back together and running. But it's going to be, I'm thinking it should go pretty quickly, because like I've been telling a friend of mine, there's no fancy, and what I've said in other updates too, the new sections, there's not going to be any fancy new wiring or track work or anything. It's basically just connectors, or basically bridging the existing layout back together for a new section. So, but it should go together pretty smoothly, I think. And be nice to get the trains up and running again. I've got a bunch of, well, I've got 2 new Amtrak engines that I haven't even run except for on the test track in my kitchen when I was up to the house in Bucyrus, or in town there. And then also have a bunch of new freight cars that I've got in, that I got put together. I haven't run those yet either. So a lot of them are grain cars, since modeling the Midwest you need a lot of grain cars. You see those, a lot of those in the trains these days. So especially like around this time of year when crops have been taken off and getting transported around and everything. So, so that's the update for down here on the layout. Trying to think if there's anything else going on. The other thing too, with when I do the videos, the layout lighting should be a lot more even than what it was in the previous layout videos. If you go back like to my train race videos, when the trains are going around the layout and the camera's on the either getting pushed or pulled around the layout, I had only one shop light over each side of the layout. So on the corners it was really is noticeably darker than on the side, on the middle of the sides. But now with the nice even lighting that I've got down here now, it's going to be nice to for pictures and video down here. So really looking forward to that, and hope seeing things in literally a new light. So anyways, that's I think all I can think of for what's going on down here. The work, well, actually, and of course I'm going to be using my display easels too to help support these corner sections, since these are kind of top heavy and can easily fall over. But the other thing too on the workbench, since I don't really have any place to put lights in up above because of the furnace ducts, that's why I've got these floor lamps. This is an old desk lamp, or a floor lamp that was in my living room down in Hilliard. The bottom light doesn't work, but these two do. And then I got this light here from Lowe's. I got basically all the lights shining down to aim onto my workbench, and then this light then I use for killing the shadows, so that way I've got light on both sides to light up what I'm doing on the workbench. Basically the way I had it down in Hilliard. So that's going to be nice to have a nice dedicated spot. When I was down in Hilliard, I had an old card table that I was using for my workbench, and it was kind of shaky and it was kind of cramped too, because I was over in that one corner with my easel that was from my art studio squeezed in there too. And so having nice dedicated space for what I'm wanting to do down here is gonna be nice. So, and with that, let's go ahead and go back upstairs. So that's the December 2025 update for the channel. That's for what's been happening, what's about to happen, and everything. Hope you've enjoyed on these updates as to what's been going on with my life, and what's everything that's I've got planned for coming up in the over the next year, between the trains and honeybees out back and everything. So it's gonna keep me busy. So obviously I got a lot of stuff planned out and I think it's going to go over pretty well. Just got to pace myself, not get overwhelmed and everything. It's been a long year. A lot of stuff's happened just that I hadn't planned on. And but I think things are turning out okay. So hopefully, in the next video, I'll have some updates for you as to what's happening down the basement. Hopefully, I'll have some doors soon for in the living room there, so I can, you know, get the Lionel up and running. Even just do jigsaw puzzles again too, for my spare time. Those have always been fun. I like doing those because it keeps my mind sharp and everything. But anyways, hope you've enjoyed these updates, and hope you're all having a good holiday season. Wish you all the best for not just the holidays, but in the upcoming new year. So be safe, have a Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. I'll see you in the next video.